All right. Okay, Chad, I'm shooting you a co-host invite right now. Let me know if you see it. And guys, we're chatting with Vitreus. They're a layer zero blockchain, and this is something I heard recently in the last few months. Actually, I learned about it a little bit. But they're a substrate based layer zero blockchain ecosystem built specifically for AI and self sovereign identity use cases. So that may sound like a bunch of big words, but I promise you, we're gonna get to the bottom of it. I'm really excited to chat about it. I see some people in down the audience who are AI nerds. I'm sure they're super interested. I see Kayla down there. We nerded out about AI. We were at Consensus together, had a lot of fun there. So, anyways, Chad, would love for you to kind of open up a little bit and tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about Vitreous.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate you having me here today. I'm Chad Justice. I'm the Vitreus founder and CEO. I'm joined with a couple of my core contributors. One is going to be Tim Benedict. He is our CTO for one of our first mover parachain partners from ComplyQ, which is an AI governance, risk, and compliance platform. I'm going to want to tap into his mind. Brilliant guy in terms of where AI is and where the AI needs are within the marketplace and how we're going to position for that opportunity. I've also
Oh wait,
got,
hold on. Did can you guys hear Chad? I got a error message saying everyone unmuted or something like that. Everyone can hear me and Chad.
Yeah, I can.
I
Okay,
can hear you.
perfect. My Twitter just bugging. Okay, sorry. Continue, Chad. My bad.
Yeah, sure. I see that Mothkin was pulled up as a speaker. Moth is a spokesperson for our Decentralized Autonomous Organization, or DAO, council, and he'll bring a really strong perspective from a community standpoint. And he's very much involved. He's been around since day one, and we really want to spend a little time tapping into his perspective from a community member, as a community member. Also, I've got Taylor. It looks like Taylor's already been brought up as a speaker. Also, Taylor is the creative behind Vitreus, and he's been in charge of the design and the architectural elements and ensuring that everything works cohesively together. We've got a lot to unpack within the Vitreus ecosystem. Many times these AMAs, we need a couple of them to really get through everything in detail. So hoping we can tackle everything from a pretty high level and start to get into some of the weeds on the more important details on how we see ourselves differentiating between the rest of the marketplace, blockchain marketplace, and where we see opportunity within that marketplace and what we can exploit.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big shout out to everyone on stage as well who's staying in for this AMA and everyone who's in the audience. Please join me and retweet this space for us. Let's get the conversation out there. Twitter Spaces is not that great at letting people know that we're live on Spaces. So seeing it on the timeline is the best way to get the conversation out there. Really appreciate everyone who does that. I think this would be helpful just to kind of contextualize the rest of this conversation. If you could give us like a really quick high level breakdown of what layer zero means, why it's necessary, and I feel like that would be really fruitful for the rest of the discussion.
Yeah, sure. The layer zero is really applicable to the substrate framework, similar to the way Polkadot is set up. There's a layer zero, what we call relay chain. It's the core of the ecosystem. It is what everything else is built upon. It carries all of the interoperability functions. It carries the hosting of the core digital assets. It carries the shared security model across all the various parachains. It's an integral component to the health and the throughput of the entire ecosystem. But on top of the layer zero is where we see our traditional layer ones being built that utilize all of the functionality and the value that the relay chain brings. But we like to think of ourselves as an ecosystem of ecosystems. And that's how we're positioning ourselves, where we want to build other ecosystems out on top of our relay chain, and leverage the usage and capabilities within our digital asset base.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. Okay, cool. And also for all the speakers on stage, please feel free to throw up a hand if you have any questions. That there we go. I was ready for it. Kayla, please over to you.
So yeah, I've been doing a lot of research on decentralized AI. It's pretty expensive, so I have a good amount of questions about that. But I
Hold on, Kayla. You seem to be bugging out, at least from my end, a little bit. Chad, are you Chad? Can you hear her?
I can. She was cutting out on me.
Is that better or
Oh, there we
no?
go. I think you're back.
Okay, I'll connect to Wi-Fi as soon as I'm done speaking. Can you guys hear me pretty clearly right now?
Yep.
Okay. I have a lot of questions just because I guess this is expensive in a way. Like I was listening to the space yesterday and I have a lot of questions about the nodes and servers aspect because that's the only way to decentralize AI. So you guys are hitting all the boxes there. But for you directly, my question is how what do I need these tokens for? Like what are the tokenomics get me in the ecosystem that you guys are building?
Yeah, I'll open this question up. I'm gonna lend on Taylor's smarts in a little bit, and then I'm gonna expand into Tim's expertise as well. Our asset base is dual token. So we have a core native token which is called VTRS. It carries utility function. It serves as a governance token, and it serves as the staking asset for the proof of stake consensus. That generates or essentially mines a dual token, which is what we call V energy or G volts. And that's what you receive through the staking process. And that's what's produced and mined through the staking to create the gas mechanism. That V energy, those G volts, that's what's used as gas across the ecosystem. Currently, one transaction costs 1 G volt, and the conversion rate for a G volt into VTRS is 1.1. And we're launching at 5 cents. So essentially, the cost of a transaction right now is 5.5 cents. So a really cost-effective way to facilitate the gas usage across the ecosystem. Taylor, do you want to expand on some of that V energy functionality that we see coming into play?
Yeah, sure. Kayla, great question, right? AI blockchain needs tokens. Why the hell does AI need something different associated to blockchain? That's awesome. I want to first mention our nodes, right? So the idea of our V nodes validating blockchain, but we also have another layer of DPIN that's attached to it, which is going to be coming out soon, which are called C nodes or compute nodes that are specifically designed to be consumer acquired or maintained hardware, much like a self-hosted blockchain node, that are designed with blockchain addressable containers to perform compute functions associated with running LLMs or other training or inference mechanisms within the AI field, right? So you could have this C node host within a container within the hardware itself a container that hosts a model, right? A fine-tuned model accelerated by a specific Python library, for example, like Unsloth or Olama, and then you get these high-performance models that can be that are addressed by the blockchain. So a specific wallet calls upon a specific container to perform a specific function. Now, why would I want to host one of these nodes? Everybody only wants to do stuff that's going to end up making them money, right? So by hosting these jobs, you're going to be harvesting those G-Volt entities, which could be, or tokens that could be converted into some kind of reward metric associated with the G-Volt ecosystem itself. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. That was a great answer. And my other question, like to follow up, would be: is this the only way to make sure that we could handle all the compute? Because that's kind of what I've been getting at for a while in my research. So, is this like the only way that we would be able to like hold all of the things we need to run in the future? Because I think that there is some concern with like just centralization as far as it being viable in the future.
Yeah, data centers are already being swapped, right? Harvesting all of this compute power into specialized locations and then having it all overwhelmingly filter into that and properly out of that strains grids, strains resources, strains pipelines. It's a whole cascading effect, right? But by democratizing the locations and the allocations of compute power around the world, we can actually ease that burden and then achieve a higher level of optimally usable compute power. So I believe so, yes.
Yeah, for sure. So my next question, and I think that people miss why like people in technology love solar power. I think it's because we're gonna have a hard time with like the electric and just like cost. So have you guys thought about that or what's that like?
So costs of energy around the world vary greatly, right? And from people that are burning, or from countries that are still burning, coal to generate electricity for everybody, to countries that are more nuclear friendly, or countries that are more renewable friendly, right? So it's really hard to determine, where all this power is going to come from and how we can do it. But by sharing the load across multiple countries, multiple jurisdictions, and multiple power plants, or what have you, we can kind of offset that drain on the entire system. So hopefully we don't blow up Texas by having too many Texas nodes, right? Something like that.
Hey Taylor, why don't we touch on also the meticulous design that we go into from a power draw perspective, and the C nodes that we're talking about, maybe common components. But what Taylor's referring to, in addition to what you can do with AI, you don't necessarily need to have what everybody's thinking from a traditional perspective of, I need 8 GPUs that's drawing a massive amount of power. In this system, you may just need to use an AI aspect through an API to power it, and then you can use these very low power distributed nodes to fulfill that inference acceleration, because you don't need high end training, or you may want to secure something. So it's a much more responsible use of a deployment of hardware with a thought design for low power. And the more the nodes are distributed, to Taylor's point, the more they're connected and the more we can pull everything in from a mesh perspective. So that's also a key aspect, is we're not trying to use these really high-end GPUs that draw all this power. We figured out a way to use commodity type hardware with the same effect as far as inference acceleration goes.
Yeah, okay, so that's exactly right as far as my research goes. Like, the only way to decentralize things is architect design and decentralized compute. So, I'd love to hear about your architect design. I know that's like a very high level question, so I don't want to bore everyone, but amazing answer. Amazing, guys. This is exactly what I wanted to hear. Like, I've been looking for these answers, so thank you.
Sure.
Awesome. Great line of question there, Kayla. I can always depend on you there. That was amazing. Oh man, I don't know. I feel like I just learned a ton. Man, we can go so many different ways there. Actually, I want to go into this direction for a little bit. I know we got some DJs in the crowd, maybe, but you guys have a 3-way reward system. Would love for you kind of to dive in a little bit deeper into that and expand on what's the alpha there.
Yeah, I'll take that one. The rewards program is something that we wanted to really build out and provide a lot of value and an incentive to draw holders of the digital assets into our ecosystem. So what we're launching is a wrapper token version of our native. And first round is we're launching on Ethereum. We're launching that token for trading on Uniswap on June 18th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll allow someone to go and purchase the trading wrapper version of the native token, and they'll be able to bridge into Vitreus that way. And once they bridge in, they can take ownership and holding of that native VTRS token. They'll hold it in their wallet, and they'll be able to pursue staking activities that will make them eligible for receiving certain levels of rewards. There's 3 levels. One is just going to be your traditional staking. And so we have a marketplace of nodes. Our network is DPIN. So it's decentralized physical infrastructure network. They are many computers that we've spec'd out, we've manufactured, and sold around the world. We've already done that. It's all in homes and offices around the world, in many dozens of countries. And that is our network that is facilitating the validation activities for our ecosystem. And there's a marketplace.vtrs.io website, which is what we call our collaborative marketplace. That's the list of all of our DPIN hardware, our node listings. And once you own and hold the native token, you can go to that marketplace and see all the information lined up across all of the node operators, from active versus inactive, from what are they charging me in terms of a commission, what's their take on my reward, what is their reputation, how do they stack up against others in terms of reputation, what's the size and stake of their holding of total tokens on that node. You can see all of that information in that marketplace. But it'll provide enough information for a staker to come in and see everything all in one spot to make a determination of who they want and what node they want to take their tokens and stake to. Once they're staked and they've chosen a node and they've committed their tokens to that node, they'll begin earning a reward. That's what we just call our traditional staking reward. It's proof of stake. So they're actually committing their tokens to the validation activities on that node. And that plays a role in determining who comes up and participates in the validation activities, just your normal traditional staking protocol. And they receive their rewards in terms of the dual token system in G volts, V energy. And that's the second version of the asset. We have VTRS, which is a native token. It's what you use to stake. That's the governance token. That's a utility token. And then also they get paid in terms of a secondary token called V energy, or the single unit is called G volts. And that's what you receive in your reward. That is the gas mechanism that is used across the entire ecosystem to cover transactions. And once you're receiving that reward, you can go swap that. You can hold it, you can build it up, and use it for all the functions that Taylor mentioned earlier. Or you can swap that out for more VTRS and go put that against your stake and compound your staking position. That all happens within our application we'll talk about in a second. The second level is going to be a pretty innovative rewards program called VIP, Vanguard's Incentive Program. And by staking, it allows you to enroll in a more longer term committed program, a 1-year commitment, to participate in the parachain revenue. As we build out the ecosystem, as we expand and scale through bringing builders on and taking parachains and developing them out, the stakers can participate in the revenue in terms of royalties. And that's what they are. It's a participation in the gross revenues of the parachain businesses that are coming on board. And that's our second level. And then the third level for everybody that has purchased an NFT up to this point, or what we call our early believers, our early buyers, they've purchased an NFT that has given them enhanced participation in that VIP program. And that's the third level. And those are NFTs that will be able to be purchased on a secondary market at some point in the future also. So 3 different ways that you can participate in rewards and profitability across the ecosystem. Both all very active programs. So nothing is passive about this. It involves you to be involved, stay on top of your stake, take a claim of your tokens being rewarded. It involves you to, it requires you to be involved in knowing what's going on with your stake. So a really cool program in terms of the 3-way stake.
Wow, that was really, really good. Solid breakdown. I saw. I think Price has a hand up. It went up and then it disappeared, but I think it's still up. I see it on my computer. Price, do you have a question?
Yeah, hey, what's up? Yeah, quick question. What made y'all want to build on like ETH, say like over Solana or something like that?
Yeah, so we're not building anything on ETH. It's just where we've targeted our first go at a wrapper placement. It's going to house our first wrapper contract, and we're going to launch on Uniswap. We chose that just due to scale and volume considerations. But the plan is obviously to expand to other blockchains and make this very much a multi-chain type wrapper offering.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just wondering. Thanks.
Yeah, first stop is Ethereum just due to scale and volume. And then we're going to make a move over to Solana after that, and then Binance and so on and so forth.
Yeah, let me know when y'all move over to Solana. I try to avoid ETH gas fees at all costs. Oh, shit.
I feel you. I feel you, Price. I feel like we just came out of that trading space and we really nerded out about Solana meme coins there for a little bit. It is pretty nice with those gas fees, but Ethereum's working on the L2s. There's a whole bunch of things to come in. So who knows what the crypto landscape looks like in a few months or years, to be honest. We also have Lady Trader in here, who is a KOL. Just great stuff out there as far as the media and marketing and stuff like that. Lady Trader, if you have a question, please feel free to hop in at any point. Oh, I see. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So great to see you here, team. I have quite a few questions actually. So, and mostly around the launch plan, right? Because that's what my community is mostly interested in is, learning about the utilities of the project, learning about the launch plans, the marketing plans, all of those things. Can you tell us a little bit about the background of the project, especially when it comes to the early investors, right? So, who are your early investors?
Yeah, sure. We don't have any institutional investors at this point. They are all individuals. We've been building for about 14 months now, and we'll get into some of the technologies that are live and that have already launched, and you'll see the scale of what we've been able to accomplish up to this point. We started our design process back in January of 23. And we spent about 3 to 4 months really honing in on the detail of our design and our architectural elements of the entire ecosystem. We designed with the end in mind. We wanted to accomplish an ecosystem that was very valuable to traditional Web2 organizations. We saw a big pivot from traditional methods over to a digital environment for a lot of these large corporations. Adoption of blockchain was already becoming prevalent in the private space. So you saw these multi-billion-dollar organizations adopting in-house, internal, fully private, fully permissioned blockchains. And we saw a need for building a platform that could be positioned as blockchain as a service to large organizations that didn't have the know-how or didn't have the capacity or intelligence to build out their own technology in-house. And we're starting to see, and actually we're being told as we're doing a lot of our conversations directly with these companies right now, we're seeing reinforcement around that idea. Just not knowing how they even begin to look at some of these digitization efforts and capabilities out there. So the marketplace is there. That's how we're positioning Vitreus, is from a traditional organization, traditional corporate standpoint, and giving them methods to digitize many aspects of their business and adopt digital ledgers and all different types of use cases that come into play when looking at those capabilities. We started initially with a single use case. My background is in traditional wealth management. I founded a company out of the state of Florida 18 years ago and have been building that over 18 years. We've got multiple locations around the state of Florida. The SEC is our direct big brother. That's our regulatory agency that we deal with on a very regular basis. And the burden of compliance is just been heightening pretty aggressively over the years. And every year is bringing a new challenge and a new way of having to think about the way we operate our business. So we look to technology to try to manage some of that burden and help us reduce some costs and reduce the man hours required to adhere to those regulatory requirements. We started looking at blockchain. We started looking at smart contracts tied to the blockchain to automate a lot of the operational procedures within our business. How could we use AI and tie that into a single source of data to tie that into smart contracts and utilize automated procedures? We examined everything, and we really looked at it from a single use case standpoint and realized what we were building was an ecosystem that wasn't built for just one use case. It was built for tons of use cases. And the way we were expanding, building that platform on the layer 0 level was going to be perfectly positioned to bring parachains for all different capacities and capabilities, all different use cases, all different individual companies for parachains. I mean, the sky's the limit with what we were building, and we were finding that. So we started viewing ourselves not as a single use case technology, but as a platform and a blockchain as a service offering for Web2 companies as we look to scale up. And we got into the depend structure of our validation. We started looking at the usage of ledger systems to solve problems around AI and organizations adopting AI really aggressively. That's our first mover for the parachain and ComplyQ that I'll have Tim talking about in a second. But that's what we think and how we view our ecosystem in the way we're going to cross and bridge over from traditional business over into the Web3 space. I think the market's ready for it. They just don't know how to do it. And there are a couple blockchains kind of dibble and dabbling into the Web2 space, but we're going straight at it. That's what we're about. Is just solving problems for big companies that don't even have a clue on how to approach digitization.
That's great, Chad. Thank you so much for the overview. Also, as far as the token goes, the launch plan, when are you guys planning on launching? What is the valuation that you're looking for? What will be the FDV? What will be the IMC at launch?
Yeah, I'll give a brief overview of the tokenomics, and if you want to come into our Discord, we have all of those resources available at any time. The general high picture tokenomics, we've got a 608 million token total supply. We have 205 million on circulating supply at launch. That translates into a 5 cent per token at launch price. That works out to be 30 million market cap on fully diluted value, and that works out to be a 10 million roughly value on circulating. Broken down into various allocations, which some are locked, hard locked, some are open for trading, some are team. All of that detail is on the graphic that we have available in Discord.
I'll check that out. And so what you're doing currently, are you going to be, is there going to be a pre-sale? Is there going to be an IDO? What is the plan? Like, how do people invest in the project?
So we have a token launching on June 18th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is WVTRS. It's launching on Uniswap. So if you're interested in purchasing that token, you can have your USDC ready. That's the initial pairing. And you'll go swap on Uniswap for WVTRS, which is the wrapper version of the native. And then if you want to pursue utility function, which it sounds like your community is interested in the utility aspects of everything, then they would bridge over from that blockchain, the Ethereum blockchain, over into Vitreus and swap that out for the native version of the token. And from there, they would be able to stake, generate rewards, participate in VIP, and then utilize a lot of the native functions within the Vitreus chain.
So, Chad, what was the main reason that you would say, at least like the top reason that you went with the kind of round that you went with, right? Because you guys did not seek VC funding at all. And we are seeing this quite a bit right now is like projects like yours, they have the capacity to raise a lot of funding just through the regular VC. So what was the reason for that? Like the main reason?
Well, VC normally takes, pretty massive positions, which in our case, being a decentralized autonomous organization, a DAO, that doesn't work real well with a community governed structure. And so we felt like our grassroots approach initially and our stewardship of using our funds as much towards development as we could was the route that we needed to take. We sold NFTs initially. So we didn't have a pre-sale, so to speak, a traditional pre-sale. We sold NFTs. Those NFTs carried utility value tied to them. So it gave the purchaser of the NFT enhancements in the form of enhanced voting capabilities. So they get a 3x on their token size on their bag when it comes to voting within the governance structure. It gave them enhancements around that VIP program, that royalty program. So they get an enhancement there that they're eligible for. But it also served as a placeholder for being able to claim tokens when it came time to claim. So we just went through the process of launching our mainnet on April 1st, and that opened up the claiming portal for everybody who had purchased NFTs to go turn their NFTs in essence and get their native VTRS back. And everybody's already gone through that process. I think we claimed 85 or 90% or something along those lines already. And they're holding their native token in their wallet currently. And I guess it's a good time to talk about our wallet. We built an application called VApp. It's available in Apple and Google stores. It's already live. We've already launched the MVP version. We've already upgraded, added features for a version 2. All of that is live. You can go download it in the Apple Store. It's called VApp. And that serves a number of functionalities. One, it serves a wallet that holds your Vitreus assets. 2, it allows our DPIN operators, our node operators, to manage their vNodes. It allows them to tie right into their piece of hardware. They can claim their rewards. They can see the various specs and operating specs of the node. They can do anything to manage. They can turn off. They can stake, unstake, anything related to operating their node. They can do within that app. The third feature is managing their G-Volts, their V energy. And so as they are able to stake and generate rewards, they can accumulate those rewards and hold them in that app. And they can swap that out for more VTRS and stake that and compound their stake. And then they can manage and enroll and monitor their status within the VIP royalty program as well. And we have plans to add functionality and features and really enhance that app to continually add and generate more value to the holder as we go along.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll definitely be watching, how everything plays out and be there whenever you guys are launching. And we'll also follow up with you. I think it looks like a great project.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Perfect. Also, real quick before I jump to Kayla, didn't know if Moth, Tim, or Taylor, if you guys wanted to add anything on to what Chad was talking about just now. If not, I'll jump straight to Kayla.
Moth, why don't you give a little perspective from the community member side? You're involved in the council. You kind of serve as our spokesperson for the council on the DAO. Can you bring some perspective from there?
Yeah, happy to. There's a lot going on, and I've been here since the beginning, seen everything sort of transform. A lot of us have been through quite a bit over the past couple of years in this crypto winter, the bear market, and we've all been part of projects that ended up being scams or rugs, and it's just common in this space. But what's been so refreshing about being part of this community is it's just a very mature community that's focused on the potential benefits of blockchain with traditional businesses and just seeing what it can be, beyond memes and all the typical utilities that every project tries to do the exact same thing, and they're all convinced that they're going to make it big, and just the whole thing, right? And Vitreus is just it's so different that it's a refreshing atmosphere, and it's been nice to see that evolution, and the conversations and the organic growth and just how we've evolved, and now becoming a DAO and engaging in the aspects of governance. We have a platform that will be installed soon and also accessible via the VApp, and that is vGovern. And we will be able to, through vGovern, to advance proposals, kind of like Polkadot's V1 governance model, and referendums and bounties, and there will be just the parachain auctions, the whole bit, to allow us to expand. One thing that I did want to touch on just is that the morphing into a DAO really allows us to take ownership together as a community. And that really isn't possible when you have a central entity or foundation, that is sort of the funder and holds the majority of tokens, right? And they dominate the vote, and they impose their vision on everyone else. Well, our largest wallet is like less than 1% of the total supply, and across the ecosystem. And our average wallet is about 15,000 tokens, whereas it's a medium wallet. The average wallet's about 85,000 tokens. So it's pretty decentralized, even in terms of the holders across the Vitreus ecosystem, and it really kind of aligns us together. We have the opportunity for sort of a shared vision of where we would like to take this, and we are very excited about AI and marrying that with blockchain. We're very excited about identity and just where this can go. But I think most of all, what we're concerned about is sustainability, longevity. We don't want to be a flash in the pan and gone. We're not just focused on launch. And to do that, we have to make sure that we have some sustainable mechanisms in place. We want to be able to really cater and incentivize builders to come on chain. And to do that, we have to be able to appeal to traditional companies, traditional business, and Web2 that want to integrate blockchain. We need to be able to shift our nodes to parachain so that we can help them to operate if they don't want to deal with that. Shift the gas mechanism, incentivize builders with the decoupled, token system that we have. There's a lot of different ways that we can uniquely incentivize builders to come on chain. What I have been personally concerned about and focused on is making sure that we have that future, that shared security model, making sure that all of our finances are on chain, that they are visible, that they're transparent, that we have a multi-sig wallet is the only wallet that is outside of our system accounts, so that it's visible. Every transaction on there is viewable, and it's transparent to the community. All of those things I think are core elements to making sure that we have some sustainability and longevity. And before I turn this back over to everybody else, this is a very mature audience asking some very deep questions about technology and AI. And one of the things that I would like just to jump back up to a high level is, AI may be the modern gold rush right now in technology. And do you really want to be the guy, running in and trying to mine that gold, or do you want to be the one selling shovels, right? With all of the new regulations in this space, I think that Vitreus really has and its partners have a unique opportunity to provide the infrastructure to let people play in this space. And so I'd love to hear, Tim and Taylor talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure, Moth. I'll take that. Thank you for the transition. I want to tie this back into Vitreus and take it a little bit different direction than I have the last couple AMAs. So I'm a holder myself. Been part of the core team. My focus has always been, it was always going to be bringing traditional companies with ComplyQ. That was always the intention. So one of the reasons I really like working with this team and with these opportunities is we've always thought about how we're going to bring this to market. And I think I need to reinforce how important an ecosystem like Vitreus really is to an organization who is overwhelmingly challenged by AI. I know it's a gold rush, but it is not going anywhere. And as many of you know, it is an apex technology. The challenge, though, is if you are a medium to large size company, you do not have the skill sets in-house to adequately understand the AI landscape, let alone the risk management that comes with it, and as Chad mentioned, the compliance that comes with it, and the cybersecurity landscape. If you guys haven't, or if you don't know, I'll just touch on it very, very quickly. Artificial intelligence itself has a whole new threat landscape that is completely outside of traditional cybersecurity. It is normal cybersecurity controls have no bearing whatsoever on how a AI system will be interacted with maliciously or malicious tactics. So being able to take ComplyQ and for the initial build, use it as a parachain for immutable logging and transparency as the models are being used through the ComplyQ API is just really the beginning. And if you are a company that is really just confused by this whole landscape, now I can actually do the things that I'm wanting to do with AI, with a system that will help me put guardrails around that. But even more important, our system has been designed to use DPIN because we have technologies inside of our system where they're what's called a prompt scanner. Essentially, it's a highly trained model that knows how to detect different adversarial threats, whether it needs to anonymize personal identifiable information, or if it needs to look at a prompt injection. Well, with our system, we are going to be able to provide that service at a very low cost to these companies who can immediately adopt this technology safely and really, again, truly marrying distributed infrastructure, DPIN, storage, acceleration. This is just like we said, the thought-provoking near-term use cases of real world builders coming in. And we've talked to at least 20 organizations, and not a single one of them hasn't been interested in using this ecosystem. And when you explain what blockchain provides in a way that meets their benefits, that is a much different conversation because you're not trying to get them to understand the power of it. You're actually bringing it to them in a useful manner. And that is something, again, that the core team originally wanted to do. And as we transition into a DAO and we bring on these other builders, we're going to be able to provide these examples to other builders and ecosystem and lead those conversations down the path. And that's just really the starting point. We're not even really getting into how smart contracts and tokenization and different elements will be used in the Web 2 world. But those are also elements that will be coming very, very quickly. It's just that AI and AI governance is so critical that we're capitalizing on that now with a very robust system. And more importantly, Vitreus is built for that. There's not a lot of nonsense with our ecosystem. We're very transparent, it's secure. So you don't have to worry about any of those underlying technologies that you might have to worry about with other blockchains.
That's really good, Tim, and that's great perspective from a use case standpoint and how we can view the ecosystem from a scalable value standpoint. And when we're looking at recruiting traditional businesses over to adopt the blockchain for any various use case, trust becomes a very important factor. Traditional businesses in adopting a platform need to be very confident from a security standpoint. The control aspect of a blockchain is a major consideration for a traditional business. But that trust factor and that security factor is really important. And our move into the pure decentralized structure is really geared to be a strategy to accommodate a lot of those concerns within the traditional space. So, when we talk transparent, we mean transparent. When we talk no control, we mean no control. And as that carries over into the way that the DAO is going to function, that carries over into control mechanisms in terms of treasury management. No one has any single control over the funds. We just went through a really tough period in 21, 22 of projects left and right rugging the funds, rugging the treasuries. And any control and centralization aspects of those projects are no longer considered to be acceptable, especially as we move into the traditional business Web 2 space. So the DAO is just that pure play to get the trust elements in place so that we can make the move into this space.
Wow. That was like super motivating. I don't know about you guys, but I spent a decent time thinking and talking about AI. Kayla is also in here. We do a weekly AI space as well, so we nerd out about that some. But I do also a lot of content work on Near Protocol, and they started out as Near AI. And I think one thing that people leave out a lot of times, especially in AMAs, is kind of like the human level of like why are we here, a little bit of projecting to the future, a little bit of the vision and the why we're here. I just got like super motivated to like crush the rest of this Thursday. I don't know, like that was awesome to hear that. So I really appreciate that. I'll throw it over to Kayla though.
Yeah, you guys should totally come on the AI spaces. We definitely like would love this alpha, and we're basically just tearing apart everyone who's not doing decentralization. But you know, I've been hearing a lot of things about these layer zeros. Like everyone for before I met you guys was like, build on Polkadot. It's layer zero for AI. I have no idea what that means, to be honest. So now you know you guys are saying layer zero again. What's the lowdown on that like for a newbie?
Taylor, do you want to touch on this in a little bit more technical aspect and then tie that into some decentralized DePIN ideas?
Yeah, okay. So that's a great question, Kayla. Like what makes a layer zero so beneficial for the realm of AI versus a regular layer one, for example? AI is such a sprawling technology. You need storage, you need compute, you need training, you need this, you need that. So layer zero is, you know, and substrate framework is aptly named. It is a substrate. It is a connector of things, right? It allows a layer one to talk to a layer one, and this is natively ingrained in a layer zero blockchain. So what we can do is we can set up a series of system chains that are expandable by these, you know, decentralized nodes or, you know, shared compute through, you know, data centers here renting out to, you know, just like these GPU as a service protocols we see. If we isolate that in a parachain designed to manage, calculate, process these jobs that people want done, then we can offload the entire system while keeping it compartmentalized, right? And the compartmentalization is a very key element to making Vitreus what it is. Storage is over here, compute is over here, security is over there, and it all works in unison.
I would add to that, you're not going to get any GPU today anytime soon. So the more we provide decentralized infrastructure, and to Taylor's point, you can tie that together, cross-chain communication, the more we're going to democratize this. And that's the future of where AI is going to go. To Taylor's point, to say AI is sprawling would be an understatement. It's going to be highly fractionalized, and there's going to be tons of use cases as it becomes more proliferated. With NVIDIA's Blackwell technology that's coming out next year, we're going to see trillion parameter models, no problem. I mean, we're outpacing Moore's law. I mean, basically, NVIDIA is writing their own law right now. Moore's law doesn't even apply to what's happening with NVIDIA. So it's just going to get more complicated, and decentralization is just going to drive that naturally.
Yeah, it's just hard to even think about the fact that we haven't been on layer zero when you put it that way. So pretty interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I know we talked about, well, I guess this question makes sense. We got about 9 minutes left, so I feel like it could be helpful to we kind of projected into the future a little bit, but are there any partnerships slash things on the roadmap post launch that you wanted to share that might be helpful for people listening who want to get involved and hop in the ecosystem?
We have some really exciting developments that are pretty far along that we're not ready to share yet. We do have a partnership structure and a parachain allocated to ComplyQ, which is also the company that created and developed the Vitreus ecosystem. Is now also building another platform for this AI governance, risk, and compliance solution for large organizations. That'll be operating on Vitreus. We've already got all of that in place, and the development is underway on the parachain. So there's that. That same company, Collaborative Digital Innovations, is also going to be bringing a couple other use cases that have not been announced yet, and so those are already in play as well. Post launch, we're going to be making a very aggressive move right into trying to secure some tier one exchange listings. We've strategically approached the contract and the DAO structure and the decentralized governance and basically every aspect that we've we've put into the design elements of the ecosystem all play into creating as little friction as possible in obtaining these centralized exchange listings. One is we've got OKX on the top of our radar. We'll be pursuing that pretty aggressively. We've just finalized the formation of our foundation, which is going to be facilitating all of the off-chain activities from contract obligation and engagements to off-chain asset management and multi-sig wallet management. All of that is still overseen by the DAO, the protocol DAO, and controlled by the DAO directly. So even the foundation carries decentralized components to that as well. But that's going to be ready to go in the next couple of days. And then we're going to be pursuing some additional development for adding more foundational functionality to make it as attractive as possible to recruit the builders. And once we get on the other side of this launch, we're going to be pursuing marketing towards the recruitment and incentivizing the builders to come and begin building out these parachains.
Awesome. Is there anything you're looking forward to the most? I guess I have two questions. Yeah, I'll start with that one. Is there anything you're looking forward to the most? And oh man, I've got like three questions actually. I'll start with that one.
Looking forward to the most. I mean, I think everybody is excited about the launch. You know, we've all been here. Big chunk of us have been here for 16, 17 months. And we've all been engaged on a very regular basis, almost every day in the community, in the socials. We are incredibly committed to communication and transparency. And the core contributors, the team here, we're very open and we're very transparent with the community on a daily basis, from updates to answering hard questions to addressing questions that we may have not even considered and making pivots with the way that we're approaching the ecosystem. It's been a group and community engagement up to this point, and it's helped to keep everybody engaged too. You know, building for 14 months isn't the most exciting thing in the world if it's just a quiet process. But we've committed to being engaged and communicating and sharing updates. We haven't missed a single Friday build update in almost a full year, and we're there with the community and communicating what we're all working towards together. So I would say everybody is most excited to get this thing launched. And again, we're launching June 18th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're launching on Ethereum. We're launching the token, the wrapped token on Ethereum first. And a couple questions. That wrapped token version will be available across multi-chain within the next 6 months or so. We're just launching initially on Uniswap on Ethereum. And that is WVTRS. And you'll be able to swap and pair that with USDC. So make sure you have USDC in your wallet, and you should be positioned to be able to take advantage of that exciting day for all of us.
Perfect. Yeah, that was actually one of my other questions. Like, how does someone not screw this up? How does someone not miss TGE or have any issues? So you answered that one beautifully there. Did
I
have
think
another. Actually, I can extend. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Chad. Go ahead.
I think just be ready for fireworks on that first day. We've got some really good feedback coming, and we have some really exciting news coming that we're expecting to be able to launch ahead of that date also. So just stay in touch and stay engaged, and you'll be up to speed on all of that important information.
Gotcha. Right on. Right on. I think I may have time for this last question. I do want to make sure everyone gets in kind of final statements here from the whole team. But I guess just yeah, it would be like a two-pronged question. So kind of that same question I asked Chad, maybe to Taylor and Tim. As far as things you're looking forward to the most, I have a feeling it's probably the same answer there, getting that launch under your belt. But is there like any big things, any big takeaways you learned from this whole process? It's been a long time coming. You guys have been grinding out for a super long time, and match day is almost here.
Yeah. Taylor and I were laughing about this, about a month ago, Taylor, about how none of us are even close to the same. One of my things that I'm grateful for is being involved in this space on a daily basis and being able to learn and grow and lead some of these really cool technologies with organizations is what I'm the most excited about with ComplyQ. That's my main focus. So super excited about that.
I am most excited about seeing V Energy and this ecosystem we developed come to life and realize its full potential in countless ways that we never expected at the start of the journey, but we've realized as we've matured into it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, listen, we got about 2 minutes here left for the end of this space. Would love to know if there's any last thoughts, any last announcements or anything like that you guys want to make sure people are aware of. Is there any specific links, by the way, Chad, that you want me to make sure is pinned up at the top? We have the blockchain launch. I have that one pinned at the top. If there's anything else, please let me know. All right, just sorry, 1 sec. My space just bugged out for a second. I think Moth is back up here. But yeah, okay. I don't know if you guys heard me just now. My Twitter just totally bugged. I'm not sure what happened, but if there's any last statements from the team, would love to give the mic to you to kind of close us out here. But otherwise, this has been an amazing discussion. I feel like we really nerded out about the AI world and the innovation world as well. Not just kind of had this AMA. So I had a great time. And one thing you mentioned about building as a team and doing this all together for the past year, doing these spaces with Wolf, we've had a chance to connect with so many different individuals and teams and projects, and it's been a lot of fun for me. I did a lot of independent stuff on my own for a few years before I thought, hey, you know what, it's time for me to build and part of a team and see if I can meet some cool people and see what that's like. And it's been an amazing time being able to connect with some awesome individuals. Had a great time at Consensus the other day. Got to hang out with a bunch of people, namely, Lady Trader. I was able to hang out with her pretty much the whole time. We were attached to the hip, really couldn't be separated. But yeah, I'll turn it over to you guys. Any last thoughts before we close out?
Yeah, I just want to say, our community means the world to us. We are in there every single day, engaged with everyone from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed. So if I could encourage anybody to do anything, come to our Discord and join in the fun. Follow us on Telegram also. That's primarily an announcement channel, but we engage a little bit there. And then we're daily involved on the X front as well. So make sure you follow Vitreus page, and then if you'd like, follow my page as well. We make sure that we get some really good content and announcements out on a regular basis. But I appreciate you. You've been a great host. The host makes the AMA. We spent a little bit of time with your counterpart yesterday, Wolf Financial, and y'all really do it well. We really appreciate you having us.
Absolutely. I've had a great time chatting with you guys. Everyone, make sure you check out what Vitreous is up to. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Huge shout out to everyone on stage. Huge shout out to the Vitreous team. Man, it's been a great Thursday. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Follow all the speakers on stage. Definitely give Vitreous a check and see what they're up to. If you're in the AI world, maybe see if there's something you can contribute and be a value add there.